did this on purpose, right? You brought this in on purpose, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if we're going to see this or not. What is in this mason jar? Because I thought, man, that's going to be some strong moonshine. That looks like some stuff my cousin used to make.
The color is a little questionable now that you point that out.
So what is it?
So this is an infusion of raspberry leaf, dandelion, milk thistle, burdock, berberine containing herbs as well. And I do an overnight. I just boil the water right before bed and let the tea steep, and I wake up and strain it, bring it to work, and I'm just drinking it like it's my water for the day. But the raspberry leaf is really good for balancing hormones and like toning the uterus. And I actually just read the other day, and after knowing about raspberry leaf for so long, that it does have properties that help heal the gut lining. So I was really excited about that because I've been drinking it for a long time. But the other herbs are really good for just helping nourish the liver, help the liver cleanse, which plays a big factor in hormone balancing as well. So I just kind of make this a few times a week and drink it like it's my water throughout the day.
But what did you call it?
Well, T-Tox is the blend.
I like that.
Yes, 1978 or 79. Remember very well sitting on midnight shift in my police car as a Chattanooga police officer. And between calls, I did this one single thing.
Well, okay.
I had 6 audio cassette tapes on herbal medicine. It intrigued me to a level that all I did every night for 2 years straight was listen to these cassette tapes over and over and over about the power of herbs, how they can help manage health, how they can keep us off prescription drugs. I mean, we're talking, this was not common conversation back in the day. Well, at Nutrition World, we have someone who has a lot of experience who's joined our team. Lini, welcome to Vital Health Radio.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You are, you kind of dropped out of the heavens for us, and as many people have in the past couple years. It's funny how the more we realign or align with the philosophy of my heart and passion, the more people find us. I think they may feel a radiating energy somewhere. I don't know. We've rarely had to look for people anymore because the wellness complex that we have is very attractive to a lot of people in a certain way now, especially since COVID. So I welcome you. And so you are, I guess we'll call a specialist in herbs. You spent a lot of time studying those yourself?
Yes.
How did that all get started?
Yeah, well, how did you get started in herbs?
Yes. So I guess going a little farther back, I started out being very passionate about diet and lifestyle initially. So I was actually plant-based for about 7 years, starting when I was 19, thinking at the time it was just the healthiest way I could eat. Back in that time, there was a lot of talk about animal products causing, heart disease and clogged arteries and all these things. And I just thought, well, I just want to eat the healthiest I possibly can. And then I was introduced to the Weston A. Price Foundation, and that was at the time the best argument I had come across for eating animal products. And that introduced this concept of it's not about eating animals or not eating animals. It's what are the animals being fed? What's the quality of the meat and the dairy and the eggs that you're eating? What are they being fed, grass fed versus, corn and soy and all these things. So that kind of did a 180 as far as my diet goes and lifestyle. And then I find that as you kind of get into that, you also look for, okay, now that I have the preventative and the lifestyle and the base, where's the healing part? Where's the medicine part come into play? So I kind of find myself naturally getting into the herbs. After I graduated from college, I was introduced to a clinical herbalist actually here in Tennessee. And I just started interning with her once a week, kind of turned into twice a week, started to feel really interested in this. I knew I wanted to do holistic health, not sure exactly what field, but as I started working for her, I just started to find, okay, I like this. This is very me, and started to learn a lot. I really believe that our bodies are designed to heal itself. And if that's not happening, there's an imbalance, there's something blocking that. And how can we get to the root of finding this so that our bodies can go back to healing themselves? And I think herbs are kind of the other component, diet being absolutely first, lifestyle, but herbs coming in alongside to help guide the body back into balance.
I think this is my long lost daughter.
Well, I was going to say, though, I remember when you came in for an interview, kind of was a surprise. We were like, well, it was like, man, we got an interview. And I was in a room, and I just remember it was either you or Katie, Ed, said, a lot of people here know something about herbs, but no one in the store is actually, that's their focus. You know, most people know a lot about the muscle building component, and they know everything else too. Some are the vitamins, but you didn't have anybody that was just, they could walk down that herb aisle and go, yep. And that's their eyes lit up, and they were like, "Man, if she is a good fit, this is perfect." And because we talked about this before we came live too, or recorded. There's also usually the attraction to nutrition world is the learning component. Most people that join Ed and the team are learners. They want to know more than not just the herbs. What else can go along with those things?
Yes.
Have you enjoyed that?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah,
there's so much to learn every day, and I do see that everyone on staff, we're all people that are like sponges. You know, we're the type to go home and we're still reading stuff, and my algorithm on social media, it's health things, and you're just like constantly absorbing. So, yeah.
You mean you don't get zebras named Ed on your algorithm? What is that? It's crazy.
You know, I haven't yet.
I love it because it's a hard job what you do. It's a hard, you know, the people who work the floor and the experts that we have that talk all day long. I mean, most days we're very gifted to be busy. No business can stay busy every single day, but I'd say 90% plus we are. And these people have needs when they come in. They're not just buying a commodity. It's not like when I go and need a tire for my car. I mean, I'll have a little conversation, but it's not life-changing conversation. A lot of our people come in with less hope. They leave with more hope, and it's not false hope, because, I mean, herbalism just by itself, I know that as I've gotten older, there are times we need helpers. We don't feel well. We want to feel better. The stomach, the aches and pains, the lungs, and I don't want to use pharmaceuticals. Third leading cause of death in this country is pharmaceuticals properly prescribed and properly taken by the New England Journal of Medicine. Polypharmacy is growing. It's not lessening, but we have a group of people who understand the dangers of that. So they're looking for alternatives in good, credible, safe ways. And that's why I'm thrilled that you are here.
All right. Can I jump in?
Jump.
Here we go. So I had a cough for 6 to 7 weeks. Then Ed got it. I don't know how Ed gave it to me before he got it, but he did. It's like a miracle contagion. Are there things, because I know where to go for the NAC and the other products, are there things that you can recommend, or are there things you direct people to in the herb world?
For respiratory, you're saying? Yeah, so one that a lot of listeners have probably heard about recently is mullein. And it's an herb that I really do think the hype is justified. Mullein is a great respiratory herb. You see it in things for COPD, asthma, just lung congestion. But there's also other herbs that come to mind, elk campaign, anise seed. The exciting thing is there's actually a lot of herbs that you can do for respiratory health. Elderflower, horehound is another one. And herbs tend to work best in blends, so there's like a synergy that happens when you when you mix herbs together, and they'll end up benefiting you a little bit more than doing things single. There's a great benefit to doing that as well, but when you start mixing herbs together, you just end up getting extra benefits that may not even be why you took it, but you get this benefit. I guess just a random example that comes to mind is when they studied the herb dong quai. It's in a lot of menopause hormonal blends, and on its own, when it was studied, it wasn't showing a lot of estrogenic effects, but when it was put into the menopausal blends, it was enhancing that blend, and now the whole blend worked better for the menopause
like a
symptoms.
Supercharger almost.
Yeah, it's like when you get them together, it's maybe not the thing you were studying it for, but now that it's together, the whole blend is coming together, and that's a really cool thing about mixing herbs together, so they kind of enhance one another.
I love that. And see, all the herbs you mentioned, I would say that we don't sell many of those because we don't have anybody who, you know, if you don't have it on your radar, if you haven't studied it in the past few months, you're going to forget some of these things.
There's so many.
And there's so many. And it's not really the premier part. Like you go to the section for breathing, you know, we've got some combinations in there, but sometimes, again, they're like NACs and they're other products, which are beneficial.
Well, I'm on one, I wish I could remember the name of it, but I'm taking one right now that she recommended to me that's an herb blend. So I'd have to look it up.
It's like a bronchial support.
Because I told you it was
yeah.
bronchitis. Probably I was suffering from. It seemed like it at least.
And
it was. Yeah.
And you know, when someone's on a medications, we have to, of course, legally and actually morally say you don't want to be mixing if you're being treated for your bronchitis with drugs, and the doctor check with somebody. Dr. Kurt Deering is our clinical pharmacist at Nutrition World. That doesn't mean that that's your official visit that gives you permission, but you can ask questions when you need to, or ask your doctor if they are knowledgeable. But I need helpers along the way, and I will use drugs as little as possible.
Yes.
All right. Can I take it another direction real quick? All right.
Sure.
So I buy teas. You know, we were talking about this. I think I got a stereotype that I'm not into teas. I love teas.
Okay.
The green teas, the white teas. There's 1,000 teas. Now I get mine probably from a place that's not as they don't do the quality checks as much as probably Nutrition World. Are you a tea person? Is that a great way to get your herbs? Or is that the best way to get your herbs?
So it kind of depends on what you're trying to do. I would say the benefit our teas is if you're doing a mineral-rich herb, a tea is going to be the best way to get the water-soluble vitamins. For example, a lot of people are familiar with stinging nettles. That one is a great you do a long infusion of stinging nettle. They find you can get almost 500 milligrams of bioavailable calcium from doing a water-infused nettle.
Really? I didn't know that.
And once you hit you want to do about 4 hours to overnight, it actually greatly reduces like the oxalate content. And I know you're passionate about that as well. And so it's a leafy green, high in calcium, low oxalate option. But once you do a tincture, you don't get that calcium. So that would be a case where you would maybe lean towards doing a tea. Another herb, a tincture, is more instant. The alcohol carries it to the bloodstream faster. So it kind of depends if you're doing an acute or a chronic, or and
What's
that's
a tincture?
an alcohol extraction.
Okay,
kind of like a vanilla extract, but with an herb.
Okay.
So that's going to be more acute. Maybe you're having some stomach cramps and you need to resolve it right now. Whereas a tea, you would kind of do long term, kind of tone the tissue, chronic support. Capsules are another way to do that. But so really, it just depends on your goals and. Yeah. Well,
there's a alcohol infusion that I really readily believe in, and it's very important. It's because it's a plan. I mean, it is, and I've used it for years.
Look, she's thinking you're serious. Like, and I'm learning something. No, you're not.
It is Patron. It's called Patron. Have you ever heard of that in the herbal world?
I'm familiar with it. Yeah.
We don't sell that in Nutrition World either. It's not a.
Yeah, herbs. We tend to use vodka and brandy for tinctures. So
Hey, when we think about herbs. I mean, you go back as far in history as there is documented history. They used herbal medicine,
Absolutely.
right? I mean, and I really value the history of the Chinese as far as Chinese medicine. Now, I don't value a lot of the products today because we're not so sure of the quality. Now, we are bringing in a line that is going to be fully tested. We've never had that in 46 years.
A line of
Chinese herbs.
Okay.
Chinese herbs. And Lini's going to be part of learning that.
Yeah, I was checking out the brand. The process they go through is very transparent. They kind of show each step of the process of selecting and sourcing and spring water fed herbs and different things, just the little things that really matter. And they're also kind of being innovative as far as the drying process and the fillers, and kind of showing you what other people do versus what they're going to do, leaning more towards tapioca and like natural bamboo instead of maybe some of the maltodextrins and
but
corn
some
starches.
of these, I mean, these are herbs we haven't heard about.
Right.
These are not American plants. And I remember Dr. Wong in East Ridge. I don't know, he would talk karate, and he did acupuncture on me back 40 years ago when I had strained my knee.
Back in the late mid-1900s,
Yeah, late 1800s.
Yeah, 19, yeah.
And so I did it in karate, and I'd kind of torn a tendon in my, or ligament in my knee. And he put me on this, keep in mind now, this was so long ago. I remember going in this little house in East Ridge. Of course, East Ridge has all little houses. That's all there is. And
or hobbits. It's okay.
That's right. And so there was blood all over the sheet from his previous patient. He just left it on there. I didn't think a thing about it. Can you imagine today you walking in and you're getting acupuncture?
I can't imagine 40 years ago.
I know. That was really a stupid thing that I did.
When at what point in time in Clint's life would I have been? Can you imagine now? No, I can't imagine ever, sir.
But he gave me those little tiny Chinese love making herbs in little tiny balls, and you put them like 3 or 4 or 5. But there's some solid research on things like prostate cancer and some other diseases that the American herbs aren't quite as good as the Chinese. And I want to learn this. I want you to learn it and continue on, because people can come in. I mean, our whole goal is to be able to empower people, not treat medical conditions, not diagnose. And it's all about, checking with the right people if you're, really sick. But you are going to have an access now to a whole new category of information. So I'm excited for you to study this.
Thank you.
Can I ask one last question?
Yes.
Now so she did this on purpose, right? You brought this in on purpose, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if we're going to see this or not. What is in this mason jar? Because I thought, man, that's going to be some strong moonshine. That looks like some stuff my cousin used to make.
The color is a little questionable. Now you point that out.
So what is it?
So this is an infusion of raspberry leaf, dandelion, milk thistle, burdock, berberine containing herbs as well. And I do an overnight. I just boil the water right before bed and let the tea steep, and then I wake up and strain it, bring it to work, and I'm just drinking it like it's my water for the day. But the raspberry leaf is really good for balancing hormones and like toning the uterus. And I actually just read the other day, and after knowing about raspberry leaf for so long, that it does have properties that help heal the gut lining. So I was really excited about that because I've been drinking it for a long time. But the other herbs are really good for just helping nourish the liver, help the liver cleanse, which plays a big factor in hormone balancing as well. So I just kind of make this a few times a week and drink it like it's my water throughout the day.
But what did you call it?
Well, Tea Talks is the blend.
I like that, Tea Talk.
Is there any, herbs are not nutrients. Herbs are not vitamins and minerals. They have some in there, but it's a different category of maintaining and helping health. Is there any one herb that, like you would say, most people probably should consider doing every single day, or is herbs really something we should choose when we need them?
So there's a category of herbs you can do every day, and those are nutritive herbs. So those are going to be herbs that are safe to do every day. The ones that come to mind are the stinging nettles, the oat straw, dandelion. There's many others, but if you find an herb categorized as a nutritive, that would be like your high vitamin and mineral content, chronic use, daily use. And then there's, of course, other herbs that are for specific things that you stop when you're done. But a nutritive would be your day-to-day.
My intuition being into this since I was 14, there were times when I was with an herbalist when I was probably early 20s. And he was like somebody from another planet. And I was just enamored by him. His whole life had been studying herbs and natural medicine. And he had me drink a lot of different herbs. And there's something about that you can't put a word to, that it just feels like the right thing to do. And I still have that affinity for that. I also have it for spirulina. For some reason, he had me do all this spirulina, and I can smell spirulina today, and it's like my memory goes back to that year of 1982 when he had me do these massive quantities of spirulina. It was really a cool story. Someday I'll tell you about it. Dr. Ajamar was his name. And I almost got wrapped up into a cult. But he wasn't a cult. But
Fantastic.
I would have done anything this man had said for about 6 months. That's how powerful he was.
Yeah, but it's amazing. It's like our bodies know that this was the original medicine created for us.
I love that.
Yeah, and there's such a slower pace when it comes to herbs. I think that's something that really draws me as well, is in this, in this modern era where everything's fast and instant. Herbs kind of require you to slow down. You have to grow them, you have to process them. Tinctures take 4 to 6 weeks to be ready. Wow. And then you have to give them time to work in your body. You take a drug and you feel the effects maybe within the hour, where herbs, you need to do them a few times a day, a few times a week. And so it kind of requires you just to slow down and kind of surrender to a slower pace of life. And I think I find that very nourishing for my nervous system, just to be patient, be willing to do the long way. And there's longevity in that. So,
and if you look at nature, nothing in nature happens fast. There's no tree that grows tremendously fast. No plant, animals, almost nothing. I mean, maybe childbirth would happen fast when it starts, but most processes are a slow process, and we have gotten into a world of 100-mile-an-hour living. And you can do that if you also surrender and you slow down at certain parts of your life. And that's what I continue to work on, is that balance between fast and surrendering to peacefulness.
But think about the other parts of our life, what you were saying we've let go of. Now, if you were to grow a garden and can and preserve stuff like my mom did and my grandmother did, that I used to snap green beans with and, shuck the corn and everything. That's called prepping. You're an outlier now
Yes.
if you're doing that. And that used to be, we had a huge garden when I grew up, and that we ate okra the night we went and picked it, after my mom did her thing to it. And it's just, and canning, she would go to the cupboard and she would pick out stuff that she had canned or preserved through the winter, and there we're having it. And it's just
sourdough bread. 3 days later, you're eating what you started making 3 days ago.
This almost seems like the last remnant of that kind of mindset of, we're going to take care of ourselves, and this is just part of it. Yeah.
There's something about the primal nature of taking care of yourself and your family on that level. I mean, I do love to hunt deer because I'll harvest the deer. I use all parts that I can, and I generally use an old like recurve bow and arrow. I did. You have to use a gun during certain points when the weather changed and I couldn't hunt with the bow, but there's something about that is you can't put words on. It's like I've just turned the clock back 2,000 years, and I've just fed my family from this hunt that I did. And I don't always feel good about harvesting. I mean, life lives on life. It is the reality of this life. And it doesn't, the Burger King you ate yesterday, there was a life behind that Burger King. Now, the French fries, I don't feel sorry for the French fries at all.
They killed a potato. Yeah. They killed a potato.
But I did see you inhale about 2 burgers from Burger King.
Well, thank you.
Wanted to update that.
I love
for
every
people.
segment. It's the Let's Make Fun of Clint little brought to you by WeHaveNoEgoAnymore.com. There you go.
Hey, we got Lini at Nutrition World. Please feel free to come in. You're working full time.
Yes.
And she's there to help you help yourself. So thank you for joining us on Vital Health Radio.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right. It is time to take a break. When we come back, tons of notes about tons of things, that plus more as we continue. For Clint Powell, I'm Ed Jones, and stay with us.